Alright, so here we go. I got the Behringer Model D, and I'm actually going to put these rack gears on it and get this into the rack. So obviously you can see it's meant for that 70 HP 19-inch rack gears and stuff like that. One of the issues I had was that this is a great piece, and you can see there's dust on it, so once I get it racked up I can put the brush on it. The issue is that when I try to use this and set this up somewhere, it's like cool, but you know, if you're like in a studio, you're constantly, because of limited space, you're trying to rearrange and set things like this. So putting these rack gears on it and putting it in the rack will finally give this place a nice home to stay. You know, so it won't fall off the side of a keyboard or fall off the side of a desk, and definitely put everything in a much more easier place to put it. So what I'm going to do right now is take this out the box, rack it up, put it on the ears here, and then stuff like that. So let's look on the side here. So the side has these 4 screws. So I imagine I have to take these screws out right here on each side and then screw it in there. So should be a pretty awesome setup. So let's go ahead and get that started.
Dillio on the track.
Alright, look at that. It's looking official. Got the rack gears on it. And now it's time to take it to the rack and then get a brush on it, get this thing dusted off a little bit. It's gonna finally have a place that it can stay without having to get moved around. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the rack. It's in the rack. One of the issues is that right here, that 1/4 inch offsets from the top there, and so I had to move it down a few steps. So it wasn't really a perfect installation, but I was able to get the media in there. I usually use USB, but I have bad ground loops with my current setup. I don't know why the PC has a bad ground loop with that, but you know, it's all good. So what I'm going to do now is brush it off, test it out, and see how it goes. Man, it got dusty, so this is a little trick I learned from Paul, a sound engineer, an old friend I worked with, helped me get started in the city. So, yeah, get rid of that dust there, and that's it. There's the rack gear right there on the right, and the rack gear on the left. Definitely looks good. All right, so basically I got the Model D racked up. The Behringer Model D is racked up. And it looks great on the rack. However, I did have a gap between here and here because I don't have a 90-degree 1/4 inch cable with me right now. But as I order one, I can get that, rack it up, make things a lot cleaner. That's one of the things I want to do when I'm making content on this platform, or at least what things I want to do. That's not a very expensive thing to do, is actually get the cables you need to organize what you already have. You know, it doesn't make sense to keep buying new equipment. You got more and more cables going all over the place, but you don't take time to organize and stuff like that. And these are all cables I just had, and some were given to me and stuff like that. But one thing I want to do is definitely take time to see if I can organize this rack, make everything look clean and stuff like that. So that might be a process that I work on in the month of May. All right. So if you like this type of content, let me know what you think. Would you get some ears for your Model D? What would you like to see in the rack, or what would you like to have racked up in your rack? All right. So I'm out. See you guys in the next video.
Dillio on the track.